All right, this is big. Nippon Steel is closing in on a deal to acquire U.S. Steel. But the White House, President Trump, is touting it more like a partnership.
It'll be controlled by the United States. Otherwise, I wouldn't make the deal. We'll see what the final is. But they're going to invest billions of dollars in steel, and it's a good company. It's an investment, and it's a partial ownership, but it'll be controlled by the USA.
So who's really the boss here on the big decisions? If a Japanese-owned company takes over a U.S. company, how does the United States or U.S. Steel have control over what goes on here? How does that make sense?
The control structure is going to be somewhat unique. It's a national security agreement that will be signed with the U.S. government. It'll be a U.S. CEO, a U.S. majority board, and then there'll be a golden share, which will essentially require U.S. government approval of a number of the board members.
Well, it doesn't matter really where the company's headquartered or if the U.S. can select board members, does it? It matters who can make the final call. But here to help us understand this, Pennsylvania Congressman Dan Meuser. Of course, this is a big issue in his district, could create thousands of jobs. He met with President Trump last week about this deal. Congressman, you may have seen that I'm pretty concerned about this deal. But if Nippon is acquiring U.S. Steel for $14 billion, how is this a partnership, and why would they do it?
Great being with you, Laura. Well, it is an investment. Let's be very clear about that. The president, frankly, would not have approved it if it wasn't strictly an investment, a strategic partnership where it's American-owned, American-run, and remains in America. That's actually, I've met with the folks from Nippon. That's the commitment that they are making, and it is a binding agreement. This isn't just a handshake by any means. U.S. Steel will continue. It's a huge investment just in U.S. Steel and in our communities and in creation of nearly 70,000 direct and indirect jobs. It's an investment in American steel. And I'll tell you what, Laura, the biggest national security concern should be if this deal didn't happen, because we need the steel manufactured here in Pennsylvania and in the United States.
One of the things that I keep hearing from folks is that Nippon, and this is documented, it's not hearing, but Nippon is one of the most notorious trade cheats, as is Japan. President Trump has talked about this in the past. I think they have 12 anti-dumping orders against Japan, including some against Nippon, other companies like it. So is this, people can say, oh, is this rewarding years of bad trade behavior in a new deal that ultimately, again, gives a foreign country a foothold in critical U.S. manufacturing? And then what does it do to the other steel companies in the United States? They are, as you can imagine, very concerned about this deal.
Well, Nippon has assets already existing throughout the United States. And in fact, this deal will impact Minnesota, Arkansas, Kentucky, Indiana. It's also going to be very positive for Pennsylvania coal. But to your question, the president will have veto power. Actually, the Department of Treasury, via the president, over the board members and have oversight of the company's overall operation. And, you know, Nippon's reputation, by the way, we're really going back to the 80s there. I'm not going to argue the point where there was dumping that used to exist, but they're spending a lot of money here. They're investing a lot. They're investing not just their reputation, but a whole lot of money and tremendous commitments to Pittsburgh, Laura, like an R&D center in being jointly done with Carnegie Mellon University.
Yeah, Congressman, I don't blame.
It'd be a big risk for them to take.
Yeah, you're doing what you should do for your district. I don't have any doubt about that. But President Trump campaigned against a deal that would end up with ultimately 51% control of a critical industry like steel in the hands of a foreign entity. Now, you're saying we don't see the terms of the deal. I'm the lawyer, so I want to see the deal. I don't know why they're hiding the terms of the deal. I haven't seen the deal. Have you actually seen the terms of the deal?
No, I have seen where CFIUS is on it and how those national security concerns can be mitigated. And I also know that the president has reviewed it, as has, I believe, Scott Bessent, Howard Lutnick, and others. Mm-hmm. But it's still being structured, Laura, and it needs to be highly satisfactory.
Right, Congressman, yeah, but I don't mean to be, I'm not trying to be difficult, but it's still being structured. So But we have heard repeatedly that this is a partnership. On the U.S. Steel website, it says it's a good thing, basically, I'm paraphrasing, that we are being acquired by Nippon. Are you saying tonight that they're not being acquired by Nippon? Because that's what it says on the U.S. Steel website.
I'm saying it's strictly an investment, just like the other investments that the president's economy that he's creating are being made. It will be American-owned. It will be American-run. The White House has investigative and oversight authority, and that is what we have, the deal that we have. And I will tell you this. The president was against it initially until he reviewed it, until he made it better, until he came in and made it with no national security concerns and a great investment for Pennsylvania and keeping U.S. steel, American steel being manufactured here where strategically we need that to happen.
There was a period of time when we were buying foreign companies and critical manufacturing, but now foreign countries and companies are buying and are. You know what I'm saying. I see what you're saying, and we need to see the terms of the deal. We got to roll, Congressman, but we got to see the terms of this deal. I respect everybody's opinion, but this is what I do. I want to see the terms. All right, Congressman, thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.